call the town board to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Here.
Trustee Holmes?
Here.
Trustee McDowell? Trustee Frierson?
Here.
Chairman Neal?
Here. Mr. Bremner, would you be willing to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir?
Please raise your pledge of allegiance to our flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir, very much. Are there any agenda changes?
One agenda change, item 7, correct the month from October to November, please.
Thank you.
So I'll make that motion.
Are there any other agenda changes? Is there
Second.
a second to accept as presented, as corrected?
That's correct.
That's correct.
Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Frierson?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 5, citizens' comments. No? No. Okay. Then item 6 is their approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held on November 21st, 2023 at 6 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Abstain.
Trustee Frierson?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 7, authorized bills for payment for November. Trustee Fisher.
Supervisor Neal and I met this morning and went over the finances, and I would ask approval of total bills in the amount of $142,993.14.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Frierson?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. And so I want to welcome Sandra Usher, the business manager of Zion Township, to be at the meeting. I have asked her to be at the meeting so that she can get a feel for what the board meetings are like and be here to answer any questions moving forward, and especially with the levy tonight. And so that brings us to item 8. Consider passing ordinance levying taxes for all town purposes for Zion Township, Lake County, Illinois for the tax year 2023, collectible 2024. Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve the ordinance levying taxes for all town purposes for Zion Township for the tax year 2023, collectible in 2024.
Second.
Motion second. Okay, discussion. So I just want to share, Sandra, do you want to just plan A and plan B and what we're doing and why?
Hello. So at prior meetings, we did submit for a levy in a total of $1,020,000, which includes $565,000 for general fund, $365,000 for general assistance fund, and $50,000 for IMRF and $40,000 for FICA, which anticipate which that is in anticipation of receiving the CEJA grant. While we're going through the process of this CEJA grant, there is no time frame as to when funds will be received, and that leaves Zion Township needing to increase levy. While we are proposing a 0.13% increase from prior levy, once funds are received from the CEJA grant, we will abate this levy and revert to prior levy submitted to you at a prior meeting.
And I just want to give kudos to the city administrator, David Nabel, who, and to trustee Frierson, who first said, what would we be levying for if we don't get this grant? And then Administrator Nabel saying, we are levying for that because if we don't get these funds, it'll put us in a really bad spot, and it would put us in a really bad spot. So looking forward to getting that grant and being able to substantiate the reduction in taxes because we got it. And so we have a motion motion is second. No, any more discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Chairman Yang?
Aye. Item 9, consider approval of annual township meetings calendar. Is there a motion to approve the calendar?
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Chairman Yang?
Aye. Item 10, assessors report.
Good evening. We had our annual Lake County Township Assessors Association meeting. The Board of Review overall actions for our hearings were as follows. We had a 0.6% increase across the county. No changes were 73.6% and reductions were 25.8%. So those numbers were really good in comparison to years past. And that was across the county as a whole. A lot of that was definitely due to the increase in values and things. And also because we've been doing a good job.
Right.
We are due to receive our tentative factor the third week in January, because it was still, it was our quadrennial year, and we did have a lot of hearings. They being the county are still working on finalizing and closing out everything on their end in order to give us our factor. So going into January, normally we kind of get it towards the end of December. He tries to get it to us before the new year, but we'll wait for that news. We're fine. And once our books are reopened, then we'll, proceed moving forward with our upcoming projects for the year. As far as legislative updates, there was a bill that was put in front of the governor to sign, and he did not sign it, a tax bill, and it was for, and the things that did not change, it was a long list, and I know you guys don't want to necessarily hear all the things that they were requesting, but the things that he did not sign was, that did not change was the senior freeze income limit. That was one of the things that was being proposed. There is no change in the 100% disabled. It's currently capped at $250,000 assessed value, so they were looking to get it, to not have it capped at that, but if anyone had a home that had a higher value, then they were looking to get, have access to that as far as their assessed value, but it's capped at 250, so anyone who has 100% disability, their assessed value cannot be over 250,000 assessed. Anything over that, they'll have to pay, put it that way. No 100% benefit for World War II veterans remaining that are still living regardless of disability. That was another thing that legislators were pushing for. And no 50% benefit to surviving spouses of emergency responders. That was a new one that they were putting on, the books, trying to get for the emergency responders, surviving spouses. But that did not happen. So, more to come. I'm sure they may come, revisit it at some point in time. And I'll keep you guys updated as much as I'm updated on it. I try to follow a lot of these things now. I'm on the list to be able to get the information of when things are being proposed and submitted. So if it affects, it affects you guys, it affects me, so I want you guys to know just as well as I'd like to know. And our office will be closed the December 22nd and the 25th for Christmas, and the 29th and the 1st for New Year's. Happy holidays to you guys. Any questions?
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments for Assessor Davis?
So this bill that was put, so it was passed and put forth, he has just not signed it, or is he pocket vetoing it, or did he actively veto it?
You know what,
Don't-
I'd have to go back and reread. I just know he didn't sign. He, as far as I know, he did not sign it, and then I was just going through and kind of pulling out the highlighted things that I know that
Would impact,
would impact us, yes.
okay.
But I can go back and get everything specifically and continue to do that going forward.
Okay, well, we'll see if that has, cause yeah, that would be some definite changes to, how much people pay, depending
Yeah.
on their circumstances.
Mhm.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So we're watching that and we'll let you know.
Thank you very much. Any other questions, comments? So does that mean you guys are like, can take a breath now?
Yeah.
Good.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Holy, well, you still have like a ton to do, but I know that it was a lot of work and a lot of stress
Yeah, yeah.
for what you guys were going through, so thank you for
Thank you.
the long hours and the, and the hair dye. Or the gray hairs. Item 11, supervisor's report. Just a few things. As I mentioned, the CEJA grant, we've been waiting to hear something on that. That will be to the tune of almost $244,000 for the township. We did get the paperwork that had us do the final sign off. So we're trusting that the next step is we will receive funding, but we don't know what that is. And I actually, spoke with, Cassandra, who's in charge of that grant, and asked if they could like just confirm, and she said, we can't confirm anything. So I was like, okay, then I appreciate the route we're taking. Our office is also gonna be closed. We're gonna be closed on the 21st from 10:30 until 1, for, staff Christmas. Lunch is at noon, if any of the board would like to come over for lunch, at noon on the 21st. Then, we'll be closed the 22nd and 25th for Christmas, and the 29th and the 1st for New Year's, and then the 15th for Martin Luther King's birthday, and then Friday, January 26th is when we're gonna be having our staff retreat. So everybody is aware of that. And, also, so everybody is aware, we are gonna have minimal staffing through January 5th. Financial assistance will be suspended through January 8th. We have caught up on all calls. Everything is caught up. Everybody knows what they need to do for any, emergency assistance situations. And I just wanna pause there, well, in looking at the services report, so it was 2 meetings ago when I was sharing the backlog of calls and how overwhelmed everybody was, and Trustee Fisher, you had asked if we could look at, how we're doing those and see if there wasn't a more efficient way to do that. And I brought it back to the team, and, Adriana said, let me take a look at it and figure that out. Well, because of that conversation and that challenge, she ended up, cause what would happen is different caseworkers were making calls as best they could in between. And then so individuals would be trying to bring, supposed to bring in stuff, and there was just a lot of people dealing with a lot of loose ends. And so what Adriana then did is she's making all of the calls, telling people exactly what they need. When that gets to her, then she turns it over to a case manager. And so that has everybody, the stress level from everybody having open cases. Adriana's the only one with those, and she has no problem holding those. And we've been able to get caught up and stay caught up. So do you wanna share anything else about that, Sandra? That change?
Because I'm not in the front, I can't really share too much with that, but I can attest that, just from the standpoint of, the bills coming in, it is streamlined how the clients are getting paid on their utilities and other rental, assistance are being paid.
It's been very smooth, so thank you for that. Just to share, the Queen Bees of Red Hat Society had our Christmas party over at Shiloh House. Thank you very much. Shiloh House lets them utilize that every year. Although next year we're gonna have to move because the group is way too big. So we had 42 people, and it was busting at the seams this year. And just had a blast with it. We've got a whole year chock full of programs and things that they wanna do. A lot supporting events and things that are happening in the community. January 11th, the Red Hat trip is we're gonna be starting out at the township, going over to my father's business for a little shopping for about 20 minutes. Then over to the library for a focus group for them to get some ideas on things that they want to, programs and stuff they wanna have. And then at noon, we're gonna go to Zogo's for lunch. And then from 1:30 until 2:30, we're going over to West Elementary so that the fourth graders can teach the seniors about mindfulness and how to practice mindfulness. And then at 2:30, we're gonna go to Deck of Flavors in Winthrop Harbor for custard. So it will be a full day in Zion with the Red Hatters. Everybody's really looking forward to it. And then we're also in the middle of working with Linda Norman to choreograph a dance that the Red Hatters will be doing when we go to events. We don't have Ruby as our yodeler anymore, so they have to have a shtick. So they're gonna work on that. So it's very fun. Very proud of that group. The next Zion Quarterly is coming out,
The end of this month,
which is in a week.
yes.
So look for that, and just, she's here, so I can give her huge kudos. Sandra is the editor of the Zion Quarterly and administrator, and works really hard on that too, and it's amazing. The Elf Network has made another huge impact this year. We had 100 families served through massive coordinated effort through Santa's Helpers, which is Rick DeLille, Dave Knopp, Christian Erzinger, and John Buer. They're part of the Santa's Helpers organization. Then we have Christ Community Church with Kathy Richards, Pastor Mike McDowell, Pastor Leo Barnes, and their youth group, and then Janine Richards and her family. Oh, and Jessica was there this year too. Jessica, who does the marketing for the Zinnia project. Evan Love, did I say that right? Evan Hoff. She was also there helping. And then always the District 6 social workers that feed us the family names, and PetSmart donates stuffed animals through Lynette Van Haverbeck. And then the Zion Kiwanis, they came in spades with all of the presents organized, aged, everything. So they were really happy about that. And then we also partnered this year with the Stem Cell Nurses Unit at City of Hope. They adopted a few families. The Zion Benton Moose Lodge adopted some families. United Methodist Church adopted some families. And then with the township doing all the coordination. So we believe that we had approximately 250 Zion children served through this holiday season for that. So great job, everyone, with that. A couple other things I want to share. One, Zion Township is now accepting credit cards for payment. Thank you to business manager Sandra Usher, which is a big deal with passports. You know, before we could not do credit cards with passports. Red Hat trips, they don't even have to come in. They can just go to the QR code and be able to sign up and pay for it. And then as well with the Zinnia and Monarch Festival, for any residents that want to order a flat of zinnias, we're transferring that from them paying Antons to paying us. And so it'll be really easy. You can just like go on your phone with the QR code and just do it. You'll be able to pay right online. You don't have to do any more. It'll go into an Excel spreadsheet. It should be very simple. And so huge kudos to Sandra for figuring all that out. I have like these crazy ideas, and then she has to like, okay, let me see if I can do that. So really grateful for that. Two things that I inadvertently missed on this is on the last Red Hat trip, I had a chance to talk to one of the Red Hatters, and she is actually a certified ship counselor and wants to do that work where it's a senior health insurance program counselor. And so Sandra worked with her to jump through every single hoop, and she is now at Zion Township on Mondays and Tuesdays. And so if you have anybody that's going to be 65 or over, she can sit down with them and make sure that like what they're getting is the right one for them, that they're not getting scammed. The seniors are just getting pummeled with calls and stuff from different places trying to like get their business. Phyllis will be available to be able to do that work. So that was very cool. That was a huge, I've been wanting to have ship counselors. I just never knew how to do it. So at one point we had Catholic Charities. Helen Hogan came in once a month to be able to help. But now we'll have our own. And then second, just organized today, I read on nextdoor.com that people were looking for some place to be able to recycle their Christmas lights. And so I had a call with Swalco today, and then it turned out we don't even, Janet Eppers, who is a resident, actually collects Christmas lights and takes them to a recycling place and donates the money to really good organizations. So, so we're gonna order a banner and put it on the side of the truck and park it in our parking lot, and it'll just say, recycle your Christmas lights here, they can throw it in, and then, Janet will come and take them out of the truck and take them in for recycling, so, yeah, it was, and I actually, I had, coffee this morning with Lou Hildebrand and Janet Eppers, and she just mentioned that, like, the company that she used to own did banners, and so I reached out to her to get a banner for this, cause, well, we want it right away. And she was like, well, wait, what are you gonna do with the lights? Well, wait, we do that, right? And so Swalco doesn't have to, they were gonna beg a favor from the Grays Lake facility that we could bring a truckload, and Janet's like, no, we'll take them to this place, so. I shared that in an email today with them, so that worked out really well. And then, the last thing I want to bring up in the supervisor's report before we do the decennial. Oh yeah, before we do the decennial, is just a shout out. If anybody saw today's new Sun, okay, so I'm just gonna take a minute because we're early. So it says, it's wonderful to see everyone come together. It was warmer this year for the annual Christmas tree lighting event outside the Zion Park District Leisure Center on Friday night. Last year it was 25 degrees, and while this year the temperature on an overcast night was 44 degrees, activities were held inside in case Jack Frost was going to be nipping at noses. The event drew a packed house of people who were treated to holiday music, hot cocoa, ornament making, and visits with Santa Claus. Santa stayed inside while folks drifted outdoors to gather around the Christmas tree for the grand flip of the switch. Bill Hartman, president of the Zion Park District Board of Commissioners, said, Zion is a very special community. The tree lighting, the people, it's all magical and fun for the entire family. It's wonderful to see everyone come together. Said, we have a unity that's second to none. He added, the relationship between the city, the mayor, myself, and also all the taxing bodies, the relationship is awesome. People put ornaments on the atrium tree. Local students as carolers sang inside the entrance of the Leisure Center. I'm really proud of this event. Zion Park District Executive Director Eric Bradley said, I think it is a great event for our community. It was just a nice time for people to be able to come out and celebrate the holidays. Mayor Billy McKinney helped to preside over the flip of the switch on the tree outside. Light is important, especially during this holiday season, he said. In light of everything that's happening around the world, appreciate the simple moments that you have with the time you spend with your family and your friends. Some of the things that are so precious to us in this country, like our freedom, we take for granted. And being able to gather like this peacefully and celebrate our community and being together, it's just an absolutely fabulous thing to be able to do, McKinney said. The event also offered the opportunity for motorists to drive through the Home of Holidays lighted tree Christmas trail near the Leisure Center. The Shiloh Park Holiday Drive-Through Show, with more than 50 displays and 100,000 lights this year, is a decades-long annual tradition for many families and is free to drive through. I love it here, said Chad Murphy, Chief of Park Rangers of the Zion Park Police Department, talking about renowned Shiloh Park and other parkland in Zion. We have everything from these big parks to the small ones, but then the subdivisions, there's something for everyone. The sights and sounds included the Zion Benton Township High School Choir, Zion Kaylin White, 18, a senior, performed with the choir. White is part of the Zion Community Pageant Queens. White's sash said LCCP logo for the Lake County Community Pageant System. I like community service, she said. I like going out, seeing different people in the community, so that's why I enjoy being with Zion. Families attending included, okay, I might slaughter some of these, Isla Deol Wellman, 2 of Zion, and her parents, Pei Chung and Colin Deol Wellman. The tot kept staring at the indoor tree. She loves the Christmas lights, her father said. Megan Dix of Zion escorted daughters Layla and Lexi to the indoor amenity tables. Their mother said for Christmas the wish would be health and happiness, and that's what I want. Dix said Lexi and Lala would like Barbie toys and coloring activities from Santa. Gustavo and Jessica Della Sancha of Zion and children Jade 9 and Mateus 6 added to the indoor tree as a family with ornaments crafted on site. It's a nice way for the townspeople to meet and enjoy the festivities, Gustavo Della Sancha said. It's very special. So it was a long article, but I don't remember our community ever getting one front page kudos, right? For something like so good, and they hit everything, right? I mean, this article was so well written to capture what our community is all about, right? And I just I was, yeah, so Carrie Angel, Luke, whatever her name is, she just did an incredible job at capturing our community the way that we know it to be. And it really needed to go without saying how well it was. And I sent Eric Bradley a text message today with the picture saying just thank you so much for how you guys were able to network with the new Sun, because it's kind of a missing link for us. You know, we've got so many incredible things happening, and they tend to sometimes get missed. So just, yeah, huge celebration for that. And so with that, I think, Trustee McDowell, welcome. You missed everything except for the decennial report. No, nice try though. So moving on, number 12 is consider approval of the decennial report. Everybody has one, so we had a oversight. Sandra thought I had sent the final copy, and so she resent to everybody the final copy this afternoon. But I was talking to somebody else that was on a committee, a decennial committee for another township. And they're like, so did you turn in your joke report? I was like, no, we didn't. Oh, when are you gonna do it? I'm like, we're not. What do you mean you're not? I'm like, we're not turning in a joke report. We took this really seriously, and we're really, really proud of the work that we did with it and the things that came up. And so just to share, on page 14, we've talked about all of our accomplishments and everything, but we added to it the Zion Township Assessor Decennial Report. And Colette, would you like to share a little bit of what you added to it? Oh, you got them.
Well, she
Okay.
put- I was gonna say, well, she's looking for that, I was just gonna say, one of the comments was, the township is doing so well and has been over the years, and that's probably why the increase in, servicing clients, so I think that's a good connection,
Yeah, thank you for
for
that.
so well.
Yeah, thank you for that. It's hard sometimes, and one of the things that we're looking to do for our staff retreat is to vet out. There's an organization, a couple of townships. One does trauma-informed service or trauma-informed care treatment, right, for frontline workers. And we saw her. Did I mention this at the last meeting? So at the Township Officials Conference, she did a program on it, and she was so good. She talked about how to help residents that are, you know, in trauma and their reactions, but she also talked specifically about the teams and how they desperately need to take care of themselves too, because this is burnout work. And so I've been talking to Robin Smith to see if we can bring her in to do for any of the taxing bodies, all the frontline workers, to do a in-service with everybody to get a little bit better information. And then the second half of that is a township social worker in, I think I'm not gonna remember which township, but she actually did healing circles where people got to actually just express the frustration in that, to just try and help them rebalance. And so we're looking at trying to bring in that gal to our retreat, and then if that bets out, if we think that that's substantial enough, then we would do a 2-part series for the frontline workers and all the taxing bodies to be able to, 1, get that information, and then 2, do healing circles. So we'll see where that goes, but because it's all, they really want to be kind, but it gets really hard sometimes when people are triggered, and so, but yeah, I'm really proud of how hard they want to do well. So there is still sometimes where I have to call somebody back and say, you know what, doesn't matter how the resident was, right? Because it's not our responsibility, it's just our responsibility how we are. And I like that when we're not right, we own it. And so, So, ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just recite all these.
What's that?
So you don't want me to recite
Or
all-
whatever you wanna share, so, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a lot. I think you
It's
should.
no more than
At
enough.
least the accomplishments.
Okay, accomplishments. Well, one of the biggest things that I think that we are most proud of is the lowering of the percentage of reductions and changes for our annual hearings. Just from the number of hearings that we used to get in comparison to what they are since I've been there. I'm not gonna say that's attributed to me, that's part of the market, as well, but just, in the outcome of those, is what we're, most proud of, because, we wanna save as much, of the revenue as we can. And so with my staff being cross-trained and learning how to, look for that information and dig and ask those hard questions and propose any options if it is something that we are, going to make a reduction on, making sure that we're doing it to the best of our interest, as well as, the taxpayers. That's the biggest accomplishment, that's the greatest accomplishment that I can say we're most proud of. Going through, these years, we've been like pulling back the layers of an onion, just, trying to making sure that our books and our data and everything is in order, so it's always something new that we're learning, but with that, we've been eager to, be trained, go to our continuing education classes and just researching and things like that as well. And really, because we're doing everything in-house with the staff that we have, then we're much more informed, and we're much more observant, and, I think that makes a difference. Housekeeping things that we did, just upgrading our computer system, getting the, software for the commercial and industrial properties to be able to review that data more. Again, like I said, cross-training our staff, having more visibility in the community, because educating the community has been huge. I can see people out, when I'm going to events, when I have events, I could just be, at the grocery store and I'll see someone and we'll have a conversation. So it's been good to be able to, help them to understand, because it can be, somewhat of a complex, process, and, I always keep in mind that, what we are doing is affecting, our taxpayers, probably their biggest investment. And, with it being your home, that makes it that much more personal. And so the last thing I want is for you to look at me or my office as someone that's trying to do something that's going to, make you feel uncomfortable or feel like you may be in a point to where you might not be able to have or stay in your home. So making sure that they understand, and then letting them know of the, exemptions or any other tax relief that they may be eligible for. And, even if it's, if it's not something that, they fit into that box at that time, letting them know, hey, well, you only got a couple more years, and, you'll be able to go into this realm, and, and so, but all of those things. And even I've had people to tell me, even though you're not telling me what I wanna hear, I still, I thank you for, helping me to understand. And that makes me feel a little bit better, because it's easier to point the finger and say, you're doing this, and, and then this is gonna be my outcome and that type thing. But when you help them to understand, then it eases them. And most of the time I find that people want to be heard, but, as well as listen. But, so I let them talk first, get it all out, and then, address everything that they've said and make sure that they understand before they leave. And my, my staff does as well. So those are our huge accomplishments, is, just making sure that we're taking care of our taxpayers. We do have things to focus on, because like I said, it's always work always work to be done, so, just, you know, staying abreast of legislative changes, cause that's been a huge thing that's now starting to get on my radar more, especially with, the different changes in, I guess I could say loopholes, you know, but the things that, people are finding out of how they can, you know, not have to do things one way, they can do it another way. And so, just, you know, bringing those things to the forefront so that someone can get that written and solidified to where it's gonna be in the best interest of all and not just one particular group of people. You know, collaborating with other offices, who play a role in the tax assessment process. So, I've built a relationship with the treasurer's office and the clerk's office. And so, you know, we're educating each other on our piece of the puzzle and our process, cause it doesn't just stop with, you know, I do the values, but then, you know, like I have to tell people, I don't do the tax bills, that's another whole office in the county. So, you know, just being able to know and understand how they came up with, you know, the tax rate, or, you know, when the bills go out, how is that whole cycle, bless you, how is that whole cycle completed and things like that. So, you know, and then wanting to do things together in the future as far as educating, you know, the public. So those kinds of collaborations, and just having somebody else that I can call in reference to things that I might not have an understanding on, or if I need to send a taxpayer to them. I have someone that I can call and say, hey, I'm sending this person to you, you know, your office, could you please help them? You know, was updating ways to streamline, you know, annual renewal processes, just other projects that we have. Those are the things that we're focusing on in the future, but just know that it's all, you know, to make sure that we're looking good going forward. At least that's the goal.
So I want to add one accomplishment to the list at the top. Successfully transitioned from assessor's retirement to a new assessor that truly cares about our community. I think that is like a really huge accomplishment for this board. There's townships all over the state that like are struggling with having an assessor, and to have somebody like Assessor Davis that's so dedicated to this community and doing things right and well, it could have gone anyway, right? But that we got that, I feel like that's probably the biggest success that we had, so thank you for that. And if you don't mind us adding that to the successes. Okay, well, thank you.
And you're saying it a different way, but I'm gonna say it this way, recognizing that learning curve, full circle, thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Right.
You're welcome.
Very much so. Are there any additional comments or anything that our two community resident members, Rose or Laura, would like to add to that conversation? God bless you. Yeah, I'm really, really proud of this. And so the last couple of pages of ours, where it's got what we can do better, more efficiency, what inefficiencies did we identify, and what are our next steps, and then other opportunities moving forward. We're planning on doing a deep dive on those at our staff retreat, and just kind of calendaring out what's some of the stuff that we've already addressed, what's some of the things we want to address this year, and if we can calendar out in the future, so that we're not trying to do everything, but to make it something that we really use, that we can be proud of. So with that, is there a motion? If you would like to make the motion in the second to accept the decennial report with the addition? Would you guys like to?
I move that we accept it. I second.
Awesome. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. And So I would just like to give you guys each a little thank you card with a little token of our appreciation. For saying yes, right? Thank you very, very much for all of your work on this. That is everything. Is there anything else to come before the town board? Hearing nothing, is there, so just to say, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, hope everybody has a very safe, New Year, and, looking forward to working with all of you in 2024, very much so. So, and just so long as, Trustee McDowell is here, we gave huge kudos to you and your team at CCC for all the work that you guys did with Elf Network. Is there anything you wanna say about that, or?
I think a very successful Elf Network this year. Had great participation.
Yeah, yeah, and everything, so we had, one family that we were not able to reach, and then some things left over from last year, and we were able to fill the truck and take it over to the high school today, who had their Santa pop-up shop. And they had a really, really good turnout as well, so it was good. The Shop with the Cop was insanely amazing. Saturday, that was front page news, right? That was absolute front page news. It was second to none. One of the officers actually said, I was talking to him and he said, we can't get people to come out for overtime, right, to actually work a shift, but nobody's getting paid here today and everybody showed up, right? That says a lot about our community and what they do. It was such a feel-good event, so. Anything else? Anything I'm missing? Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Man, I gotta contribute something.
Oh, there you go. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Wong?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Firestone?